success, and we're going to be publishing it in multiple trade journals. So there should be a lot of buzz going around about this in the very near future. But basically what this unit does is allow manufacturers to keep their oil in tip-top shape. And as Dave said so eloquently, we didn't see any sense in letting it get really, deteriorated and then try and clean it up from there. And as we were discussing it last night at dinner, I said it reminds me of, taking this great house and let it deteriorate to nothing and then trying to bring it back. It's so much more difficult and potentially impossible. So, it's a really practical philosophy, I guess. It's also a very economical alternative to the current technologies of dehydration. So you're in control and it's cost effective. Those are great assets. It also gives you the highest quality oil that you can get. So boom, 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 3 stars. It's very self-sufficient, very small control panel on it, a very little need to do anything to it for very extended periods of time. Big, big bullet, and you're not risking thermal degradation. As I go on, we're going to talk about, antioxidants, additives, things like that that are really susceptible to damage from just heat exposure. And of course, the operation is very simple. So, very limited to no maintenance, as well as no operator intervention on any kind of routine basis. And those are the exact opposite with the competing technology.
How often do you have to? That means unless
they last for years, and unless there's some catastrophic event, they last for years. The pre-filter, is designed to be in place for a very long time as well. The one on the skid, the ones off the skid, if those are necessary. Everything's monitored on a differential pressure basis, so you could rig up, alarms to stop it if you hit a terminal DP that's recommended for change out. There are many ways to handle that. It could be a routine monitor. It could be a periodic one. You say, every quarter we change out breeze, or whatever works out to be practical.
We got full filter and a bearing oil, and we monitor it by DPs.
Okay.
Delta P, pressure across the delta across the filter.
Right. So you're already familiar with that.
Mm-hmm.
That makes it easier.
When you design your vessel, do you only have a bunch of little individual canisters or one big bundle of these fibrous wires?
It's one big bundle.
So if you screw it up, you're going to screw it all up. That's what I was getting at.
Well, if you screw it up, you're going to screw it all up. This is true. But we've got lots of fail-safes in the process so that doesn't happen. And there is also a qualification phase and a piloting phase if you want to go that route as well. So there are lots of, specialized steps that go on in order to make sure everything's addressed and,
There's a last chance filter on the membrane itself.
True.
So.
But I think they were thinking more in the order of
soaps
from the plant air rather than instrument air, or some other chemical introduction which might just digest the bundle. Right.
You can change the sizing of it if you need to in the future also. You just have to add nodules to it.
Well, I was thinking I could get one of the tanks. These things are mounted and have some blanks. We could add some in later.
Absolutely.
I've probably done that before. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
You can just judge the amount of water you need to remove. You can go in and add 2 or 3 more.
Right, if it was questionable, whether or not you needed the one of 7 modules or 3. You could put in the 7 unit because the hardware is not much more expensive, not blank out 4. That's a good point, we've done that.
Yes, absolutely. And then the other thing you can do is if you're concerned about a stage in the process or a particular facility that has a hazardous possibility with a chemical exposure or something like that, you can duplex them and divide it. Divide the flow in parallel lines between, two units. So, flexibility there if you're worried about it. But thus far, we haven't seen it be a problem. Okay, the other things that, just to summarize, that we've already gone through is that it's a small footprint, you don't have moving parts, you don't have to maintain vacuum controls or liquid level controls, you don't have any minimum volume that you can process, and there's no distinction between processing one type of oil versus processing another type of oil. There's a purge procedure that you go through. It removes the prior oil, and then you can introduce the new type. So if you're working with multiple types of oil in a facility, you don't have any mixed phases between them, or require different units to do the different types. Now, we've had a lot of discussions already about the effects of chemical parts of the process within the oil usage. So varnish is oil polymerization that happens generally because water is present. And it's a whole discussion to go into varnish itself, but basically we have several examples where a single reclamation event can cost between $15,000 and $20,000, and that's a really large amount of money. And the preventive maintenance on this unit is really, right in that ballpark for a 4 GPM unit. So it's really preventable, and that's quite an expense for one event for a unit that's going to last multiple years. The other thing is that there are issues associated with the varnish formation in terms of the hydraulic controls. So things like servo valves will become stuck. They will not operate as well as they should. Their duration of their expected life will not be delivered. So those kinds of things are very difficult to come back from, clean up from, and of course they're expensive to replace those pieces. The antioxidants that are present within the oil, for its optimum performance, will be degraded by the heat, and the alternate technology for dehydration being vacuum dehydration is definitely using heat and really risking the quality of the oil through that process. Also, the lubricity will be diminished because of that heat function. So this doesn't have any of those risks to the quality of the oil, and in summary, you're preventing oil changeouts prematurely by preserving the quality of the oil and maintaining it at a high quality level. So these are the example, the product line. As Dave pointed out, the pre-filter can come anywhere in 3 different micron sizes, 1, 3, or 6. You have the option of having a oil heater or not. And then we have 2 different series, one for normal viscosity up to oils that are ISO 150, or high viscosity oils. We have 3 size options for those. So everything from 4 up to 32 gallons per minute. And as I go through the actual customer example, you'll see that it's really, as we already discussed, it's not about the saturation point. So if you choose a smaller one and you have a catastrophic event, it's just going to take you longer to clean it up. It's not that you won't be able to clean it up. It'll just take a little longer than predicted.
And the 1 micron, that doesn't strip the oil. That doesn't take out the additives.
No, because the oil is, the additives are in solution.
Okay.
And so unless that oil has been exposed to alternate chemistry, whether that's water or whether that's other, or a mechanical problem like heat, then those additives should stay in solution. They're designed that way by the oil manufacturers.
The only one that doesn't stay in solution is like an EP additive like Molly.
What is it?
For extreme pressure lubricants, like they use Molly, which may not be that actually could be a solid that you shouldn't see in this industry.
We got usually plain turbine oil.
Yeah, so not a problem.
Let's see a box up there for your secondary air filter dryer, your air dryer. Is that just one size fits all? Or?
It is. It is. It's a hollow fiber membrane, and so it's a set piece that goes on all of the units. Okay, so this is a success story that the customer is a major gun manufacturer. They're using about 30,000 gallons a year of mineral oil, and they were already working with the off-site service of vacuum dehydrator company, who they would accumulate about 2 months of oil in order to have enough volume to have that that supplier come in and actually do this work for them